Welcome back to the baseline. And guys, we got a lot to talk about here. Um, a lot of fun stuff, a lot of stuff I gotta get off my chest with the baseball world, and just some fun. So let's uh let's see let's talk about it. The first one I want to talk about is the Washington Nationals have fired both Dave Martinez and Mike Rizzo, the general manager. Weird timing. Very weird timing. I knew Dave Martinez was gonna happen. If you watch some of the press conferences with Dave Martinez, he's all over the place. One minute he's slamming his players, saying you can't blame the coaches. You know, we're not to blame. We're not the ones playing out there. And then the next minute he's crying. He's you know sticking up for the team. He was all over the place. Sadly, you can't fire 25 guys. You can't. Um, he got he got let go. He got the short end of the stick. Um, they're also the second worst record in the National League. That's insane. Uh, I didn't think it was that bad. They have a great team. They have a great young team. James Wood, C.J. Abrams, Mackenzie Gore. All three of those are all stars. They are. And here we are with basically no manager. Um, there should be an announcement later today. I guess this is going to be someone within the organization, according to reports. Um, it'll be either the bench coach, which is Willie Castro, um, who's a former big leaguer, played with the Washington Nationals. He's played with the St. Louis Cardinals. Um, or it'll be their AAA manager. Um, they said, and then obviously the general manager, I guess, is already announced. But they already know who it is, but they haven't announced it yet. Um, but like I said, Dave Martinez, I kind of saw it coming. He's been this coach for years. Also, I believe there was an option for 2026. So I guess Washington didn't want to pick it up. So they've let him go. Um, so yeah, Dave Martinez, Mike Rizzo. This one shocked me for a lot of reasons, and the timing of it was weird. But before we get into that, let's talk about this dude has done well with this team. He signed big, notable players: Jason Worth, Max Scherzer, has extended even Strasburg. He also extended Ryan Zimmerman, who's was a huge face of that franchise for years. He brought a World Series team to Washington in 2019. People have called it one of the greatest trades in recent history, or at least, you know, from this generation. The Juan Soto trade. You got three guys who I mentioned earlier in the pod: Abrams, Gore, and Wood. You got three of those guys for Juan Soto. And it's a steal. It really is. Because you never know with a prospect. You never know with a prospect. Sometimes they get all this love, and it's like, I'll look out for them, and usually they don't succeed. You have three guys who succeeded. I know it's early, but they are phenomenal players. Mackenzie Gore is an ace. Abrams, Woods, they're gonna be great hitters. Yes, they haven't had the best payroll in years. I think they were the bottom of the payroll. One of the worst payrolls in baseball for the last couple of years. And it's just, I can't blame Mike Rizzo for this. I could blame the owner. Um, it's just kind of like the White Sox when they fire their GM. You can't blame the general manager for not making any moves. The owner is to blame, really. Uh, I mean, it's like, in a way, when you're at work, right? If you're a manager of, let's say, a grocery store, and you're told to make this change and that change and do this and do that, and it doesn't work out, that's not your fault, really. It's the corporate guys, because they're telling you to make the change. And that's what Mike Rizzo's doing. He was told to eat some money. Nobody from the 2019 World Series is on that team anymore. Strasburg retired. They trade Scherzer. They trade Turner. They trade Soto. Um, Anthony Rendon ended up walking. Jason Worth is retired. It goes on and on and on. And the other reason I find it weird is because on Sunday, July 13th, you have the first pick in the draft. You have the first pick in the draft, and you let go of your general manager. What sense does that make? Wouldn't that kind of worry you in a way? Because now, if I'm signing, I'm going to be up in the big leagues maybe 2 years from now. Let's say 2027, I get called up. Or 2028, 2-3 years. What's the state of the Washington Nationals going to look like now that you made these moves? I'm more leaning towards this is definitely gonna be a rebuild. I don't think we're gonna. I strongly think Gore, Abrams, and Wood will be traded or they're gonna walk. I strongly believe that statement. I believe they will walk. It's really just a shame that this is what happening. Um, we're not even the second half of the MLB season, and Dave Martinez makes 4 managers firings this year. It's insane. It really is insane. All right. Moving on to the New York Yankees. They are. I don't know what's going on with them. They look awful. Uh, got swept by Toronto over the week. Lost 2 out of 3 to the Mets over the weekend. I don't. They're not a well constructed team. They're really not. Uh, I feel like we're saying the same thing over and over again. Of every year, they're a basketball team. If Judge doesn't do anything, nothing's getting done. Um, if you know the the pitching is good, the hitting is bad. If the hitting is good, the pitching's bad. I don't understand of how you could take something of what your father has built from the 80s, the 90s, the early 2000s, and just do your own thing. I understand everyone's different, but what the heck is going on? I can't tell you the last big thing these guys have done. Now, they had a great offseason. They did. But obviously, it's not panning out. That whole team, you look at the numbers, everyone's almost bad, except for Judge, is batting 220 or worse, or 240 or worse, whatever you want to call it. The Anthony Volpe, when he got called up, was supposed to be like this next Derek Jeter, and he's not. It really not that good of a player, if I'm gonna be honest. I don't understand even why you're throwing the ball. I don't know if anyone's seen that, but he threw the ball to Judge and hit him in the face. Why? Like no one was on the field except for you and Judge. Why are you throwing the ball at the Judge? Go in the dugout, get ready. Jazz Chisholm just runs his mouth a lot. He does. Like, like he's acting like he's this big Hall of Fame player. You're not. You're a mediocre player. It's just, and Boone is an idiot. Aaron Boone is an idiot. all three of those guys, Cashman, Hal Steinbrenner, and Aaron Boone, I think are all idiots. And you're going to sit there and praise these guys who lost 6 games in a row, and you're going to look at the positives and the negative. How does that make sense? The last two managers that you had, Joe Torre, Joe Girardi, held every single player accountable. Boone does not. Boone does not hold anybody accountable. You extended him because he made the World Series last year. But you let go of Joe Girardi, who was 1 out away from going to the World Series. And the reason you let him go was because you didn't like the attitude he had towards Gary Sanchez. Where's Gary Sanchez now? How's his career looking? They need to get something done. It's a basketball team. You want There's rumors of them going after Key Brian Hayes and IKF. There's even a rumor of Ryan McMahon, who I think the Yankees should actually try to go after. Lefty third baseman, but they won't. They haven't done anything towards the trade deadline. They've done nothing. And that's all they're going to continue to do. It's a basketball team. It really is. It's a basketball team. Speaking of the AL East, the Blue Jays are on fire. It's insane of how good these guys are. Um, 8 wins in a row. Um, like we said, 3 games over both Tampa and the New York Yankees, and they are just playing phenomenal baseball. George Springer looks like George Springer. Uh, it looks like he changed his batting stance. Um, Vlad is hitting well. He Bo Bichette's doing really well. They're playing really well. Um, the batting average over the last 10 games as a team, they're batting 261. Bo Bichette's just hitting home runs. George Springer is 16 for 39 with 5 home runs. Uh, we're going over the last 10 games. The pitching, yeah, I would say that's okay. The ERA is kind of like a 4.60. This is the longest streak they've had since 2022. Um, yeah, they are just they're really it's really really good. Um, This team's entertaining to watch. I would love to see them go, um, and keep this going. Yeah, I know there's gonna be some issues. Davis Schneider, he's doing really well. He's basically won the game for them yesterday. Um, like I said, the winning streak was from 2022. This team is so fun to watch. I would like for them to add little bits and pieces to this team and get them going again. But they have been on a very hot winning streak. And like I said, most of it has to do with Bo Bichette, with George Springer, who's in the middle slash bottom of the lineup. 8 years ago, he was leading off for the Houston Astros. Yeah, he really was, and it's insane that um he's doing this well. Which I thought for a while that this was gonna be a worse contract in uh in their history. I really thought it was, because there were times he always got hurt. He always um was on the shelf. He never really contributed. There's that time when they made the playoffs, everything went to shit. But now it looks like everything is going back together, and this is what you need. And I really think this team is is for real. You know, I understand that it's still early. I do, but this team is young. They're hungry, and I don't I don't hate it. I really don't. Um, yeah, but like I mentioned, like George Springer, hit 2 home runs. The last game against the New York Yankees. Um, it's just it's incredible of how this is. Also, 6 games, 6 straight wins at home. That's also something to look up. That's what something you like to see um, from this team. Playing at home and from the home fans. That means the atmosphere is good. That means they're comfortable there, and you love to see that. And the Blue Jays are red hot. I really hope it continues. I also really hope that it it stays like this. As I know, it won't be as fun. If the Yankees uh won, but give other people, like, I like it better when a team that's always, I guess, the underdog always comes up and beats like the big bad Yankees, and dethrones them. That's something I like. And I really like what they're seeing. Like I said, they're fun to watch. Boba Shett's coming back. I know he's playing for a contract, but he's hitting the ball very well. And I want to see what this brings out as well. Some side notes: Cal Riley has tied Ken Griffey Jr. with 35 home runs before the All-Star break. That's the most, tied for the most by a Seattle Mariner. Uh, he's got a week to go, and we'll see if he can continue this home run trout that he's in. I love it. Um, also, um, the All-Star voting I found weird. Like, there's no Juan Soto. There's no, it was. I thought that was weird for the All-Stars. No defense, no, not bashing anyone else, but I really found that weird that Juan Soto's not in the All-Star game this year, not even a starter. And the Detroit Tigers, man, best record in the AL, and they have a bunch of starters. I think Terrence Schoolball's obviously gonna get the call to start the All-Star game. Riley Green's out there in the outfield. Javier Baez is the starting center fielder for the AL. Lean that sink in for a minute. Starting center fielder. That's insane. And we were like years ago, we were talking about how this guy just sucked, but he's back. And yeah, that's gonna do it here. If you guys like what you hear, please subscribe. Really helps out the channel. Also, join me either this Monday or Friday or next Friday where we do our top 10, this time broadcasters. That's going to be a lot of fun with Craig and Al. And then for next week, we'll still do what we're doing. And I'm also going to bring back the gameplay. Uh, I was going to wait to see how it does, to see if I could continue and you guys like it. So we're going to bring that back, the Road to the Show. If you haven't seen the first episode, go look at that. There's like a playlist. You guys could look into and see uh, where what we did. I believe it was like over almost 2 weeks ago. But yeah, that was a lot of fun. And yeah, we'll be back with it next week, next Monday, talking about um, whatever happens this week. Maybe preview the All-Star game and go over the draft. Um, and also, don't forget to comment as well. I like to talk to you guys, get your minds on things, and see where you guys are with most of these topics that I am talking about. But for that, I will sign off, and I will see you all in the next one.